All right, we got our alarm clock set. We're back at you. Right now, we're going to go ahead and cover a couple of playoff scenarios, which is interesting for tomorrow. Because
Made a bit of a wardrobe change.
Yeah, we
turned the hats around.
We're going to try to cover scenarios real quick, and I'm trying to keep this real short because we want to try to cut the Cubs 40-man roster down to 25, and that might take a second or two.
Yeah.
Right now, as it's looking right now, okay, Cubs have already locked their playoff in, and so have the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
The worst the Diamondbacks can do is if the New York Mets win tomorrow, they'll have 90 wins, and so will Diamondbacks. They'll have to have a playoff game for it.
Well, Mets and Diamondbacks may not have to play. Wait, no. It'd be Diamondbacks and Padres, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Going
Padres.
For
Padres and Diamondbacks. If Padres win tomorrow, then not only are those two teams locked, Padres and the Diamondbacks, they're both locked in for a wild card and division, so they'll play each other for the division game. Loser will be the wild card. Okay, so we'll worry about. In fact, you know what? We're gonna make 3 segments today because I'm gonna try to explain everything on this playoff thing, and then we're gonna go to the roster for another 10-minute segment because it's gonna get confusing. Because seriously,
my head hurts just reading this.
Okay, so here's the deal. Cubs are already locked in. Okay, we've got the Mets playing tomorrow. We've got the games that matter. I'm sorry, we've got a lot of teams playing tomorrow, but the Mets' game is going to matter. Phillies game is going to matter. Padres game is going to matter, and the Diamondbacks. If Diamondbacks win,
Diamondbacks don't matter as much, but it has an impact.
They will because Diamondbacks win. Doesn't matter what Padres do. Diamondbacks have locked their division in.
Yep.
If Padres win and Diamondbacks lose, there's a tie in that division. They have to have a playoff game for who gets division, who gets wild card, because that'll knock the Mets out of it for their wild card, and it'll knock Phillies' chance for now wild card out. But
if Diamondbacks and Padres tie and Mets and Phillies tie, the Diamondbacks and Padres will be fighting for who gets division, who gets wild card, and the Mets and the Phillies will just be fighting for who wins the division.
Right, that'll be out the rest of the season. But here's where it comes really weird into play. If both Mets
and Padres both
if Mets and Phillies both win
and the
Padres lose, there's a 3-way tie for the wild card and there's a 2-way tie for the division with the Mets and Phillies are playing it. And the Diamondbacks will lock down their division. Mets and Philly will have to play a playoff game to decide who's the division leader. That's
in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia, those two will play for who gets the division. The loser of that team then has to turn back around Tuesday
play the Padres.
If it's the Mets that lose, then they will have to play. Padres will have to play in New York on Tuesday before the playoffs start on Wednesday for the wild card. If it's Philly that loses in that scenario, Padres will go Philly will go to San Diego to play that playoff game for the wild card. So there's so many scenarios that could happen tomorrow, and it's very mind-boggling. But the weirdest one would be is if both. Oh, that ain't my ringtone. Thank goodness. Thought we were already up on time. I was like, God, this playoff thing. The hardest thing tomorrow will be is if Philly and Mets both win and Padres lose against the Milwaukee Brewers, because then there's a 3-way tie for not only the wild card but a 2-way tie for that division that the Philadelphia Phillies and the Mets play. And see, I'm already.
See, we're getting confused just talking about it. We have this written down,
but I'm trying not to stare too much because I kind of understand the scenario. But there's a lot. I mean, there's 2 chances of division ties tomorrow. But if those 2 division ties tomorrow, then there's only one wild card promise, and that's if Arizona and the Padres play it out. If they both win,
If Arizona loses, Padres win. The only fight
for the wild card
that the Mets and Phillies would be getting into would be for the division. Then it just come down to whoever wins out of the Diamondbacks and the Padres. The winner would take the West. The loser would take the wild card.
So there's a lot of scenarios tomorrow, and as you can see, it's really mind-boggling. And what's even weirder, and what's even going to be more hard to contemplate is if the wild card comes out of if the wild card comes out of between Arizona and San Diego, which is the West, okay?
Those teams can't play each other.
They can't play each other. So then they're going to have to take the very first place team playing the worst division team, which is going to be the Cubs. So it would be the Arizona Diamondbacks against the Cubs.
And I still want the Padres to be the winner of that.
But it would be those two, one of those two facing the Cubs, and then the other team would be playing the winner of the East. So it's totally, and then if there's a 3-way tie for wild card, it gets even more confusing. So we're not even going to go there right now.
If the 3-way tie happens, it's going to be a state of nationwide panic and confusion
for everybody. So
like dogs are going to start barking at the moon, and
But I mean,
no one's going to know what to do.
If you come down to it, it's very hard. The American League's already got weird scenarios too. I mean, they're already locked in, but at the same time,
the American League is all set. The Yankees are the wild card.
But Boston has the best record, right?
Well, they're just fighting for the best record. And I'm not sure what the scenario is in that. I don't care. But
I mean, while we're on the playoffs, we're going to go ahead and give a couple of lowdowns because we do have a little time here. Now that we've covered the scenarios, I'll tell you right now that I'm not really worried about anybody the Cubs play in the National League Division. Okay, you've seen their record, whatever. I mean, they've been going through changes all year. They've been playing with a lot of young players. They've been getting it down. Pinella's got it down to a fine line right now. And if you guys do not know his history with other teams, the guy is a genius. I mean,
he's taken teams that have had absolutely nothing, or maybe one star, and made world champions out of them. When he was with Seattle, he took a team where all they had was Ken Griffey and up-and-coming Alex Rodriguez. No one knew that he was going to be what he is now, but he took that team to playoffs, division titles. The guy is a magician.
And I'm not really worried. I mean, it's all on the Cubs and how they want to play, how their pitchers come out and show up. But the thing is if you look at the Cubs team, and we're going to go over that 25-man roster, between bench depth, between their starting lineup, between their starting rotation, between their bullpen, they have the best well-rounded team aside from the Boston Red Sox for the American League Division.
Yeah.
I mean, your four starters have the best ERA as a team. I mean, in the National League, your bullpen is ridiculous. You got two guys.
Too.
You got two guys in the bullpen that are under a 1.3 ERA, and that's Carlos Marmol and that Kevin Hart guy they have pitching now. He's got Kevin Hart .93.
That kid, man.
Granted, he's only been here since early September.
That
but a month worth of work
good.
at .93 ERA. I mean, the guy's coming out as a rookie.
His very first appearance was in a bases loaded no out jam, and he came out of it.
Oh, speaking of the bases loaded no out jam, I mean, granted they lost the game against Florida, but come on, who can? Kerry Wood, who's turning around their freaking game, bases loaded no out, strikes out, and then gets the freaking one of their leadoff batter in Florida, probably the best
baseball
leadoff
fans,
batter.
Cub fans, Woody is back. Woody is back.
I mean, I wish the guy would get out of the reliever role and go back to starting rotation because I'm sure with his spring training,
want to.
But I'm sure with spring training, everything, his arm get back in shape. The guy is back. He's ridiculous. He's been key element. I mean, granted, they nothing against since the other day. They really didn't need him to show up much, but he's still coming out there pitching his heart out. And
I've heard a lot of talks, and I've heard them talking about other teams like San Diego. They said their biggest downfall is they're hitting now with Milton Bradley and Mike Cameron out. With Diamondbacks, I've heard other than Brandon Webb, their pitching struggles. With the Phillies, they have absolutely no pitching.
It's all hitting the Phillies.
The Mets don't play as a team. It's a bunch of guys out there earning a paycheck. And the only bad thing I've heard people say about the Cubs is their consistency, which is the absolute truth. But I can see it kind of helping a team because you don't know what team's going to show up. Like you could have the team where Soriano, Lee, and Ramirez are all hitting home runs and driving in runs, or you could have a team where Ryan Terrio is driving in 4 runs, Jock Jones is driving in runs.
DeRosa is going 5 for 5.
Yeah, DeRosa is getting 5-hit games. Or you could have the team where absolutely no one shows up to play. You don't know which team you're going to get, so you got to prepare for the worst.
But I mean, I understand all teams are going to the playoffs with adrenaline, but the Cubs, oh my gosh! I mean, anywhere they're going to go, this is the best scenario for the Cubs because anywhere they're going to go, aside from Boston fans, well, not even Boston fans, the Yankees are probably the only ones that even come close to rivaling the amount of Cubs fans in the nation. I mean, you go to a ballpark, you're gonna have seats filled with Cubs fans, and I mean no matter where you go. And I mean, I know the Yankees are the same way, but I think it's because of the logo on the Yankees. People like the way it looks. I mean,
everyone, the whole world recognizes the Yankees and the Cubs and the Red Sox, but there's more Cubs fans worldwide. No matter where they go, it's almost like they're playing in their home field.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the biggest scenario for the Cubs. They're going to have cheers everywhere they go, and who can deny 99 years? I mean, they're fighting for something important here. They got to show everybody, this big curse, for Boston, the curse of the Bambino, and for the Cubs, the freaking
goat and Steve Bartman.
Well, who cares about Bartman? Well, quit naming. I mean, the guy did one thing. It was a mistake. Okay, he was a huge Cubs fan. I didn't agree to it. He had headphones on. I mean, who goes to a Cubs game with headphones, listening to whatever?
Yeah, seriously.
That was my problem. Everybody said the guy didn't
unless
know.
he was listening to Pat and Ron on the radio.
But even then, I mean, come on. But seriously, I mean, forget the whole Bartman thing. There's no Bartman curse. Whatever.
I'm just surprised that they didn't take that seat out of the stadium and burn it or something.
On a lot of weird things. But I mean,
they
scenarios
blew
are
up the
hard.
ball.
National League, I mean, if the Cubs get on the right roll, they can top anybody in the Nationals. I got no problem.
Yeah. They're as good as any team.
American League.
Might I need to say St. Louis Cardinals last year, 83 wins and still won the World Series.
Yeah, American League, the only team I'm even halfway scared about is Boston, because they've got the same round ability as the Cubs do. But we're out of time here, so we're going to go back to the Cubs. We're going to hit 25-man roster and talk a lot about the players. So, thanks.
In and out.